So John Steenhuisen is the leader, newly elected by the Democratic Alliance's Federal Congress. What's the reaction from the losing opponent? Has she accepted the result of this election?
A very good afternoon to you, Ngcobo. Well, I can tell you that Mbali Ntuli has accepted the results. Of course, as you've just said now, John Steenhuisen has been announced as the new federal leader after nearly 88% of the Congress delegates voted. We're yet to get the statistics, Ngcobo, of how exactly Mbali and John Steenhuisen fared. But let me just jump straight to Mbali Ntuli. First of all, congratulations to you, Mbali, for a hard-fought campaign. How are you feeling right now? Do you accept the outcome, but do you think the process was fair?
I'm so incredibly excited and so incredibly proud of my party and my team and the campaign that we ran. I think that this has been historic both for the party but also for South Africans, and I hope that it's something that we're going to see in the future. I'm confident because I had people that were watching the entire process that everything was done as fairly as possible, and so I accept the results so very graciously. And I really want to just congratulate John Steenhuisen and his team. He was a formidable opponent, and I think that this can only strengthen our party going forward.
I think one of the things that has been said about you is that you're a young black woman who dared to challenge the establishment. Now that you are, of course, the losing candidate, are you still willing to work under the leadership of John Steenhuisen, given how your campaign trail went, where at some stage the both of you did get quite personal?
Of course, and I think that this is never a fight. This has been a contestation of ideas, and that's why we have both been incredibly robust. And of course, I'm proud, even though I have lost the race, to continue to serve the leadership and to serve under the democratic observations of what our Congress has decided. And I say this, Ziyanda, because before me have never had this opportunity. So just the audacity to be able to do it, I am so proud, and I thank my ancestors for everything that they did to make sure that South Africa could actually have the kind of political freedom that we saw being exercised today.
Another thing, Mbali, about this leadership contest was if you lost, and of course that's what's happened here, there were questions around whether you would still be staying in the Democratic Alliance. You've just alluded to it, but you also said when we sat down that you are not beholden to a party. Again, Mbali, does the future of Mbali Ntuli still lie within the Democratic Alliance?
I've been elected by the people of KZN to serve them in the provincial legislature, and I'm going to continue with the oath that I took for them to make sure that I represent them where I've been elected. And of course, I think that any party can go off course, but I don't think that's what happened here today. I think that we've reaffirmed the idea that as a Democratic Alliance, we believe in robust contestation, and I think that's something to be celebrated. So I'm very proud to be part of the DA today.
Your reaction to what has been described as a loss during those constitutional amendments, you had proposed that the party have a deputy federal leader, and of course 74%, if I'm not mistaken, voted against that. Does that give you an indication then of the lack of people wanting to follow ideas that you may have for the party?
Not at all. I had all my resolutions passed today with over 88% of the voters being able to agree to the resolutions I had on childhood stunting, on making sure that we could protect the LGBTI community, on making sure that we could try and end canned lion hunting. So I think that the ideas that people have been very individually voted on, and I don't think it gives any kind of preference to any particular leader. So even John Steenhuisen was defeated in a number of amendments yesterday, as was I, but today we both had resolutions that passed overwhelmingly. So I think that people were voting really with their concerns and their ideas, not because of individual candidates.
During his acceptance speech, John Steenhuisen spoke a lot about how he plans to take the DA forward, that it's a home for those who are unemployed, those who still want to see a different South Africa. In terms of when you look at the policy conference that you've had, which essentially in some aspects takes a colorblind approach, now John is the leader and he's going to be implementing those policies. Can we expect that you may be fighting against that maybe internally within the party? What I'm asking you then, maybe you staying on in the DA could be seen as you going to be resisting from within?
No, I think that John Steenhuisen and his team are going to now really iron out the minutiae of the details of the policy proposals that we adopted, and I think that what we will all be doing is obviously contributing in that process, and I plan to contribute where I can, and I think that that's what you want from these kinds of conferences and these kinds of ideas. So I'll be supporting him as leader to make sure that the DA becomes a home for all South Africans.
Well, there you have it, Nkoli. That's Mbali Ntuli, a gracious response, if I could say, to the loss and the defeat that she has just been faced with. Now, of course, John Steenhuisen being announced as the new federal leader after being an interim leader following the exit of Mmusi Maimane. So he's been there for over a year, and really Mbali Ntuli saying that she will continue serving under the leadership of John Steenhuisen.
All right, Ziyanda, Ngcobo, and very interesting indeed that Mbali Ntuli is so gracious in her acceptance of this defeat. But there is, Ziyanda, another issue that I suspect South Africans will want to ask of the DA under the stewardship now of John Steenhuisen, and that is the Helen Zille factor. Helen Zille, is she going to overshadow John Steenhuisen? We saw right at the beginning when he was announced the interim leader. Well, she was controversial with that tweet that she sent out talking about more apartheid laws in South Africa today that exist before or that exist compared to what the apartheid laws were under the apartheid government. I wonder, Ziyanda, whether South Africans are going to continue to think that John Steenhuisen is going to be overshadowed by the Helen Zille factor. Let me put that question to you first before I put it to our politics editor here.
Well, I can tell you, Nkoli, that the re-election of Helen Zille to the Federal Council chairperson position is going to raise a lot of eyebrows, given the fact that already there was a lot of conversation about the fact that John Steenhuisen is a puppet of Helen Zille and that she's, in essence, running the entire show. You'll remember, hence, when I was speaking to Mbali now, when I said things got personal, you'll remember that she, at some stage, had said that, of course, she doesn't think Helen wants to see her win, but of course Helen forms part of the establishment, and so the outcomes, many of those who've been supporting Mbali have said the outcomes are not surprising to them, but they also have raised the issue of the fact that why hasn't the party, which claims to be liberal, actually released the statistics of how much or how little John won over Mbali Ntuli. So certainly the Helen Zille factor is not going to disappear anytime soon.
Right. Ziyanda Ngcobo, our senior politics reporter down in KZN. And perhaps, Ziyanda, as I wrap up with you, and I know that it's been a very hard slog for you, so let me just see if I can tease your brain one last time. Mbali Ntuli saying in the last couple of days in the lead up to this election that the DA seems comfortable, the current DA leadership, and it was under John Steenhuisen as interim leader, and of course Helen Zille as the Federal Council chairperson, that this current leadership seems comfortable with a party that is catering for a particular niche and not mincing her words, that it seems to be comfortable with catering for just 20% of the population. I wonder if she still is beholden to that view, given the graciousness with which she has accepted this defeat.
Well, Nkoli, I'm going to see if I can't try and hijack her one last time because she is still in the venue. Mbali Ntuli, let's ask her, Nkoli. I don't want to actually put words in her mouth. Nkoli has a question here. Don't be so shocked. Sorry. Do you still then hold the view that the DA is only trying to cater to a niche market, i.e. 20%, which would mean a white minority? I mean, that's something that you've said in the run-up to this Congress.
I've said that we shouldn't only cater for a niche market and trying to be opposition. And I hope that we're not going to be. And I'm very encouraged by what John Steenhuisen has said. He has echoed the words that I've been using throughout my campaign, saying that he wants this party to grow and he wants us to be absolutely everywhere. And so if that is what he is going forward with, I think that that can give us all assurance that we are going to be a party that's going to be in every single community, in every single village. And that makes me very incredibly excited.
Is that possible when Helen Zille is the Federal Council chairperson?
I have no idea what John and Hayden will be doing next, but I am very sure that they are dedicated to the cause of South Africa and making sure that as a party we're going to try and grow to be at the center of realignment of politics.
All right, I've held you long enough. Thank you so much for being gracious once again. Xoli Mgambi, there you have it. I didn't want to put words into her mouth. She said it herself, that she hopes that the party will not only be catering to a white minority of 20%, but that they want to see the party grow, become a party that's for all South Africans. And so, as she said, they used some of the words that she even used during her campaign trail. So I guess the story is still going to unfold going forward, Xoli, especially with those local government elections around the corner.
All right, Ziyanda and Ngcobo, thank you very much for your time there. And she is live for us at the venue of the Federal Congress of the Democratic Alliance.